What makes you a terrible parent? What makes you the fucking worst version that your child could need? They depend on you. I'm going to tell you in this video what I think it is, what I believe it to be. And it's not difficult to work out. You could be doing more. So here it is. 3 things that make you either the best you can possibly be as a parent every given day, or make you the worst person that your child could depend on every day. Number one is you repeat exactly what your parents did for you. That is fucking laziness. That is fucking laziness. If you repeat more than 20% of what your parents did for you, and I'm talking about cherry picking the best 20% of what your parents did as parents, as leaders, as an example. If you repeat more than 20% of what your parents did, you are failing your children. You are now 30, 35, 40 years further ahead in time with more access to resources and more capacity to learn than your parents had when they were in your position. So if you're repeating your parents' behaviours, patterns, statements, treatments, disciplines, if you're repeating all of that shit, you are failing your children. That's my belief. Firm belief. Prove me wrong. Number 2, emotional maturity. Self-regulation. If you are being triggered by your children, that is perfectly fine. That is okay. You are meant to be triggered by your children. They have no capacity to control their emotions, to regulate themselves. So it's only natural that they're going to behave in manners that will trigger internal parts of you that have never learned to process emotions, never learned to regulate your central nervous system, never learned to find balance after it has been knocked out of that homeostasis that is the balanced norm for a human body. And here you find yourself being triggered and reacting to those triggers. So you cannot control yourself, and I see it all the time. I experience it with my own fucking eyes. You can't regulate your own emotions. You end up shouting at your children like a fucking immature child, like someone who has no ability to lead your children. You lose them right there and then. You lose respect from them. You lose the capacity to influence them at a deep level. You lose connection with them. You destroy any level of communication when it actually fucking matters in their life. They will not come to you. They will not have any faith or any belief in your understanding and your capacity to handle the information that they have for you. They will have no faith in you. You have broken it. And that's failure. That's abject failure. That's fucking atrocious leadership. That is terrible. That is the underpinning of a life where your child will need to recover from the trauma of being parented by you. Number 3 is invalidating them in any way. If your child behaves in a certain pattern, fashion, manner, that is because that's exactly how their present state dictates they have to respond to what's going on in their environment. And for you then to use fucking false platitudes and tell them, don't worry, or it's okay, or you're fine, or what are you crying for, or like, that's not even you being triggered. That's a step beyond being triggered, because you're not fully reactive. you're dismissing their experience of life. You're saying your experience right now is not, you're reacting to it in a way that is not appropriate for the experience that you're having. That leads to emotional repression. That leads to experiences that they will never process in their life because they were told they were not correct to process it in the way that they knew inherently they had to process that emotion and get rid of it. You dismissed and invalidated their experience of life. And immediately you told them, you are not correct, you're not appropriate, you're not okay to be this way. You must change. And what they hear is, I am not lovable in this current state. And that is the biggest failure you could ever have. Look, I could talk about this forever. And it is the most important thing in my whole life, is that I can give my son something that I didn't receive because my parents did the best they could with the knowledge they had. I'm 39 years advanced from when my parents had me. And I'm so grateful for the experience that they gave me from their level of knowledge and understanding that they could contribute to me. But if I then just give my child, my son, exactly the same as they gave me in terms of treatment, in terms of emotional support, and in terms of communication and understanding and validation, if I give my son exactly the same, I fail him in a massive and insanely detrimental manner. If you want to have a chat about this, if you want to leave comments below, I'm happy to dive into any sort of area, any sort of topic where it comes to parenting and being the best version of you can possibly be. I would love to have conversations with you. Drop me a message across social media at The Supernatural Dad. Let's have conversations. Let's open it up. It is so important. It must be opened. It can't stay closed. I'll see you tomorrow.